Welcome, everybody, to In the Buff. Today we've got Chris, Cody, Kyle, John, and Scott.
I guess I like the energy.
That was an interesting take on that. I enjoyed that.
It was much more NPR, a lot less Alex Jones on that intro there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is NPR?
News Public Radio? What does NPR stand for?
National Public Radio?
National? Is it National Public?
That, maybe?
I
know is that
so.
they're the left.
That seems oxymoronic.
And
Also,
Alex Jones is...
I wouldn't even consider him news.
There were 5 names that you mentioned, Chris.
Yes. It's a...
You want to... Okay. Yeah.
Right? Hold on. Right? We have 5 names.
This is a great podcast.
We have 5 names today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't care. John's doing a bit. And it's a bit that Chris won't pick up. He's dropping it on the ground, and Chris is like, I'm not going to touch it. So here we are. We're
It's all
moving
gross
forward.
and slimy.
Wow.
Comments. Can we see that short, dog? That short has 1,000 views.
Look at
I
that.
don't believe there's any
That's fucking
comments on
crazy.
it, though.
What's up with that?
Dude.
We should name this podcast the same name as the short. Just say the word Ohio in the podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, those Ohio guys.
Yeah.
That short,
boys.
though, quite divisive. I feel like people believe that we're stereotyping Ohio parents too much. Or maybe they just didn't like the short. Because it's getting ratioed on the likes to dislikes.
Really? It had 35 likes.
Yeah, and like 8 dislikes.
Oh, that's
fuck.
great.
It's only like 5th. It's fine.
You think it's because we just shit on the fucking Underground Railroad?
Did we?
We didn't, but yeah, I sounded like a fucking Neanderthal.
What's
Do they still
different
do
about
that?
that?
Comments, huh?
Every gallant needs his
Nobody had 'em
goofus,
ready?
John. I have them ready. Which one did you leave off on?
I don't know.
Did you read this one from a friend of the show, Aaron Yeager?
Let's see.
Yes.
We did.
Yeah,
That was
we
the
did.
end
we
of the
ended
episode.
That was the last one.
That is actually the last one that we read.
Okay, so then most recent comment after that, Final Fantasy X Lulu Celestial Weapon Guide Wellnion Night video by Chris Feliciano. I counted 200 strikes and I went back to the chest to collect. I got prizes for up to 150 lightning strikes, then the box disappeared. I didn't get the sigil. Answers, please! Probably counted wrong.
Yeah, he's probably a few short. He's probably
Yeah.
a few short there.
Hey,
Just dodge a few more, dog.
Chris, if you ever, well, actually, because he left the area, he has to restart.
All right, then kill yourself, I
Pretty
guess.
cool. But hey, there's a book that you can go to that'll show you how many strikes you dodged in a row.
In the travel agency there.
Yep.
Great.
What if it's 199?
He might kill himself. Final Fantasy X
No.
Albert
See-
Primer's Guide video, Bacon Shake says, you get a sub, bruh.
Oh,
What? Really? Someone
Yep.
subbed us for that?
oh,
Wait,
I
where-
thought you
Kyle,
meant like a
have you ever
Subway
looked at our
sandwich.
analytics? The only people that watch and sub to this channel are because of our Final Fantasy guides.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Final Fantasy X, Kamari Celestial Weapon Guide Spirit Lance video by Mr. Shade UK. What makes this frustrating is the garbage clunky controls and trash camera. It's hard to disagree with that. He's speaking the truth, Mr. Shade. Final Fantasy X, Walk a Celestial Weapon Guide World Champion video by House of Faust. So is the total amount of fights you've done in games so far, or do you have to do 250, then get status, then 450 for Aurochs? And then he commented to himself, never mind, common sense occurred.
Oh,
Okay, then.
Okay. We got multiple comments from In the Buff, episode 34, selling ourselves short. Chris, your boy D. Griff.
Yeah.
Yikes. I sound like that? I don't even remember the voice that I did for him. But yes. Yes, that's what you sound like.
I thought I forgot that was even in, I edited it and I forgot you did his voice. I just thought he meant like he agreed with one of the selling himself for something.
I'm gonna dodge this one because there's some shade being thrown. Anyways, the next comment is from Monsi Coolgod, In other words, Sasta, parentheses, cheap streetwalkers.
Sauce street.
That's what we are.
Is that Kannada for?
No, I
cheap?
think it's Hindi.
Oh, okay.
No, she's
Okay.
calling you cheap whores.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I was
Sasta
trying to-
is cheap in Hindi, I believe.
Okay.
You don't want to be a part of that, Kyle? You don't want to be a part of the cheap whores?
I was the pimp.
I disagree.
Well, I guess well,
I'm pretty sure the devil was offering me that, son.
Daddy treats me right.
All right, anyways, Final Fantasy X Unicelestial Weapon Guide, ONW first. Is it possible to get a legendary weapon on someone before beating the game?
Wait a second. Who's the shade you skipped over?
Me.
What'd you say?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to save Chris's self-esteem here.
it's about the 10 seconds of
Oh, I
dead
see.
air.
Seconds?
No, it
10
was 7
seconds?
minutes. It
10
was 7
minutes.
minutes, Chris.
Well, he said 10 in the comment.
Great.
He also said minutes in the comment.
All right. Next comment.
Press F to pay respects.
Click.
Great.
That was the last comment, the Nirvana one. You don't have to beat the game Anwa first. I don't know. It's as soon as you unlock the airship, you can
He's
get
not
a hold-
listening to this.
You know, you do this thing where you just go back and forth. Can I answer them or can I not?
If you
Okay?
want to answer it, send
Right
a
now.
comment.
Give
Send him a
it to me
comment.
right now. But every time I say they won't hear this, you're like, who knows? Maybe they will. I
Maybe
want
I'm
you
just-
to pick
maybe
a-
it's about the
I
mood
want
I'm
you
in.
to pick a fucking side.
No man is an island, John. Maybe it's
Oh.
about the mood I'm in. Okay?
My guy, there's about to be 2 corners in this fucking podcast. A red corner and a blue. Because I'm coming after you.
Is this a wrestling promo?
Why
No, that
can't
was a segue.
we be friends?
Right, about corners, huh?
Yep.
So corners.
Corners.
Like, I'm counting on my fingers. Cody, Chris, John,
I spent a lot of
Kyle.
time in the corner growing up.
Cody, Chris, John, and Kyle have all had a corner recently. Who's that leave?
Andy?
No, Andy doesn't get a corner. He's
Andy
been a
doesn't get a
person.
corner. No.
Because he's Asian?
No,
No,
he's been a
because
person,
he didn't
which
get,
may or may not have something to do with him being Asian.
He's a reoccurring guest. He's not a mainline member. So he doesn't get
Okay.
get that type of billing.
I wouldn't
see.
mind expecting his main line. So it's my corner. And my corner, it seems like every time I have an idea, like I want it to be more than what it is.
Sure.
And then my corner kind of turned into a project. And then that project turned into actually, let's just do Skinwalker Ranch because that's too big. So
That's being backburnered.
it's like a stew that will simmer.
Yeah.
And
But
then
the
no
problem
one will
is
eat
I-
it or watch it.
I really like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So do I.
Like I want to do something with it. I don't want it to hit the back burner and stay there.
I'm also a fan of the origin of the idea, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, that's not the
Instead,
corner.
here's my corner.
Yeah.
I think he's just open mic night.
We
Who
could
the
do
fuck is
karaoke.
Mike?
We could do karaoke.
We could do karaoke. That'd be nice. That'd be fun. It'd kind of be weird that we don't have video with it.
Why do we need video with karaoke? It's a voice phenomena.
It's, true, but a part of it is that you want to see people embarrass themselves, or like crazy fun antics happen, like in Yakuza, like a dragon.
We don't have that kind of production. We don't have the kind of production to have like pyrotechnics and people in face paint.
Fair.
Regardless, what have you guys been up to, huh?
That's your corner.
What's going on?
Oh man.
Well, all right. I can. So earlier today, I went to trivia night at the local bar with some friends and coworkers, and it was Harry Potter themed.
Did you
And
win?
We did not. I felt pretty confident going
You
in.
disappoint
Did anybody
mom.
dress up?
No, nobody dressed up. Everybody had fun team names, though. We were the mysterious ticking noise.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
I love that video.
Is that
I felt so
Yes.
emasculated at the end of this night. I thought I was pretty good at trivia, and there are people who are much better at it than I am.
Whoa.
I'm
Did you
okay
get
at
taken
trivia.
down a pick or two?
Well, I'm okay
Yeah.
at trivia, but I'm terrible with Harry Potter. I don't know dick
fucking
about Harry
finally?
Potter.
Well, the thing is, at work, we'd been practicing for like the past 3 weeks. You know, getting in our reps and doing like daily trivia questions that were just kind of thrown out
Like-
on the team chats, and yeah, none of it made a bit of difference.
Can you give us your a question you remember that you didn't know? Can you
Yeah.
remember one?
Yeah. Well, here's one that I knew the answer we gave was wrong, but I didn't know what the right answer was. I knew that it. So, in the 5th movie, when Harry receives his letter saying that he's expelled from Hogwarts, who sent him the letter?
Professor McGonagall?
No, it would have.
Wouldn't it be?
I believe her name's Romilda, isn't it?
Nope.
No, it was
No.
supposed to be Fudge, right?
No, it was not Fudge directly
Because
sending
he used
the letter.
Well, that's the thing. He used magic in real life, and so
In real life,
like,
yes.
yeah, he used magic in real life because, in the fake world of Hogwarts, you're allowed to use magic, but in the real world, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to. So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, John.
the governor got mad.
You guessed what we guessed, and I'm like, I know this isn't right, but it's the closest thing because I
Yeah.
think in the book he gets 3 letters: one from Hogwarts, one from the Ministry, and one from Dumbledore. And I think in the books, McGonagall sends him his expulsion letter.
Umbridge?
No, it's not Umbridge. I think McGonagall sends him his expulsion letter in the books, and then he gets a letter from the Ministry saying he committed a crime by performing magic in front of his cousin. In the movie, I think he only gets 1 letter, and it's from Mafalda Hopkirk of the Ministry of Magic.
Mafalda.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew it was,
I was-
some dumb Harry Potter name, but I could not remember what it was.
Did the
Chris, by the way, you're
did the
thinking
Harry-
Umbridge sent the Dementors, which was the reason he was casting the Patronus.
Is that
Right.
true?
did
Yes.
I thought
she's-
Voldemort
she
sent
says-
the Dementors.
No, everyone thinks it was Voldemort, but at the end of the book, right before while they're in the forest and she does her whole
Spoilers.
monologue speech, she reveals that she was the one who sent the Dementors.
Convenient.
Spoilers for a 30-year-old movie.
How old do you
okay,
think we are,
Chris?
Chris?
Chris, I know you weren't born yet, but how about you fucking take it down a peg?
I feel 57.
Did they have trivia for like books and movies?
It was strictly movies.
Because I know it was strictly movies.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Nobody reads anymore.
Although, a
And did it-
bit of a wild card, 2 of the questions in every round were about behind-the-scenes trivia. And I'm like,
No
that,
way am I going that
are you serious?
Shouldn't count.
What?
That should not count.
How hot was Hermione in the 3rd movie?
Ding, ding, ding,
Underage,
ding,
I
ding, ding.
believe.
Who played a farting prank on Daniel Radcliffe?
No joke, one of the questions was, after filming was complete, what musical instrument did Rupert Grint give Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson as a gift?
Fuck off.
Hold on. Was it? Oh God, what's it? Was it a mandolin?
Fuck you. No, it wasn't a
You
mandolin,
know
it was a
that?
trumpet.
I was gonna say trombone. I was closer.
The only behind the scenes stuff that I recognize anymore is like what Rupert Grint did after Harry Potter was over.
Nothing.
What?
Who is-
What
Who
did he
is
do?
that?
Oh,
It's wrong.
Did he change his name to Ed Sheeran? What did he do?
Oh, he
Okay,
bought it.
him.
He did what he said he was going to do while they were doing interviews in the first movie, which is he went out and he bought an ice cream truck and he drives around England giving children free ice cream.
What a jackass.
God, he touches kids.
No, he does. We can't slander. What's his name?
Rupert Grint.
Rupert Grint.
He also
He's acting
acted
again.
in that one Ed Sheeran music video.
Well, yeah, there's apparently rumors that they're all coming back as adults.
No,
There's
dear,
that.
no.
They gotta pull him.
Well,
Let's
like,
not.
you can only buy so much ice cream to give away for free before you have to, like, try to get money again.
Oh, he's not giving it away, dude.
He still gets royalties off those movies.
He's like giving those the Sonics with the weird eyes and the SpongeBob's. He's like charging $2.50 a pop for those, for sure. And that's England,
pounds?
and it barely makes sense.
England.
Do you think he sells? Do you think he sells the popsicles that have the scorpions in them?
No.
No,
Those
are
are
the
fake
lollipops.
lollipops.
Those are lollipops.
That's-
Thank
is
you,
a-
Cody.
This is
Thank
a
you.
We
big.
talked about it in the last podcast.
Yeah, this was a big conversation, and yes, they're a thing.
No, it wasn't even a big conversation. Every time I tried to like comprehend it, you guys just shut it down like
No,
it's a
no,
completely
I haven't.
normal thing.
I've
You were
certainly
the
never
only one who
fucking
did.
heard of it. I've certainly never heard of it.
I was so thrown back by this, and Chris and Kyle acted like they had it every other fucking Tuesday.
Yeah,
I,
but I digress.
We just gonna.
Well, that's what's been going on with Cody. Isn't
we
that
just
great?
gonna skip over me outing myself that I didn't understand the reference because I didn't watch last episode.
Incredible.
You didn't.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Cody, you weren't in it. I didn't expect you to watch it.
That's the
Alphabetically
that's the
next in the
implication.
Discord. Alphabetically next in the Discord is Chris. So, Chris, what have you been up to?
Well, that's a good question. I've realized I can't spell.
What can't you spell?
Well, I've been doing the giant road sign for the grocery store that I work at, and I get to put ad items up there. I've so far misspelled eggs.
Chris.
1G.
You misspelled my fucking name in the description.
Today, I misspelled strawberries.
He has a fucking degree.
I spelled
Degree in
strawberries.
English, right?
Strawberries. There's no R in the word I put up there.
If I might just interject, Chris, on your behalf. Egg doesn't need 2 G's. It's inefficient language.
Okay.
So in common American English vernacular, avocados is spelled the Spanish way, without an E.
Without knee. Yeah.
Just an
Okay.
S. And I spelled it
The British way?
alternative spelling, which has an E to make it plural.
Slap a female deer on there.
But I was told that was incorrect. So whatever. But
Yeah, with the E, it's pronounced avocados.
Yeah.
yeah,
Free
well,
Shavakadu.
there you go. Free Shavakadu, of course. So yeah, I've been dealing with my manager making fun of me for that.
Great.
I would make fun of you too.
Yeah.
That is a level of power that I should never be granted.
Management?
No, putting words up on the big sign.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Okay.
If I got to put some shit on the sign, if I had some sort of power over the McDonald's and Taco Bell in town, I would try to start a food war.
Yeah.
That would be
I'd
fun.
put hey, yo, I heard Taco Bell had a small dick.
I like the idea of a food war escalating to the point that it's like an actual war between two franchises.
One of
Yeah.
just fucking Mickey D's Golden Arch just pulls out a fucking cannon.
Well, it's like when
But it's food.
Pepsi made a deal with the Soviet Union in the 70s.
And they have a submarine now or something, yeah?
They got,
Or
well,
battleship,
not
I
anymore.
don't know
They
what it is.
sold it. But yeah, for a while there, they had a navy.
Yeah.
They could have literally just blown up Atlanta and gotten rid of Coke.
Well, here's something interesting. Corporations already own a navy. It's called the U.S. government.
Hot topic. Woo! Coming in hot and spicy.
Damn.
Wow.
So that's all Chris has been up to, you boring fucker. Kyle.
Oh, we're going alphabetically.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can say I'm more boring than Chris.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
Any
not
fun
last.
fun stories at work?
No, work's getting more boring than usual. I would say I have a I have an upcoming project I'd like to probably throw by you guys at some point here soon.
Well, hold on a
I was
second.
talking
You
about
said
it
we're
with Scott.
exploring. You were talking to me earlier about some sort of horrific problem that was like $20,000 in damages.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Okay.
Somebody decided to pick something up after they you know the things that you get on in the aisle with the like display stuff that you get in the aisles at like Meijer and Walmart and stuff.
Yeah,
or Sam's.
like the end caps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those things. I can for all the viewers, I can let you in on a little secret. Those are not structurally stable. Don't put 1,600 pounds of Dove bar soap on top of one of those. Someone decided to do that and then tried to move 8 of those into a trailer at one time, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And those are custom made, so there's only as many as whoever ordered them needed. So they're like super
How will
fucking expensive.
capitalism continue functioning
If people
without the Dove? What was it? What was the brand? The end cap.
actually, I think it was either
What day
Dove
was
or
this?
Ivory.
What day was this, Kyle? What day did the crushing happen?
The crushing was, I believe, Saturday. Right, Scott? Yeah.
That would have been most likely like
I know the thing on
Tide, Downy.
the thing
some sort of
the
detergent.
thing underneath
Some
it
sort
was,
of cleaning product.
it,
So
no,
it would be easy to clean
dis-
up after.
The
No.
display was definitely an Olay face cream, and then
well, why
Was
didn't you
this
tell me that?
industrial espionage?
oh no, this was someone can't fucking pick stuff up correctly.
You
The
sound
likely
like
story.
a shill.
No,
The
They-
obvious story.
I think they're all owned by the same major company.
Yeah, they're
How
all
about
owned
you
by the
go-
same company.
How about you stop stomping all over Kyle's corner of my corner? All right.
Oddly enough, this corner has been brought to you by Dove soap.
No,
You just saying the brand name is enough. You just saying it enough. All right. You're gonna get us flagged.
yeah.
I don't know for what. But
No, as long as we don't check that it has sponsored content, we can say whatever we want.
fuck Dove. Fuck everything Dove does. Those ducks die at the end.
They do.
That's Dawn.
That's the
Well,
big
that's
actually.
Dawn,
That's the big
isn't it?
secret.
That's Dawn. I
Here's the
think,
trick.
not Dove.
Those are the
Oh.
same company.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yep.
SC Johnson.
You guys want to know something funny? Most
that
of
was
the
Procter and Gamble.
It is.
Get fucked, Chris.
You fucking idiot.
I'm a
Tide,
bigger corporate shill than you.
Tide, Gain, Dawn, Dove, Era, Ariel, Downy. I said Gain already.
Let's list more brands. Yeah.
Just list more brands. Like all of the soap in your fucking house, one company.
Dial.
That's true.
No,
Most of the soaps in your house.
Most of the soaps, yeah. Okay, Scott found one that wasn't.
Get fucked,
Palm
Kyle.
olive.
Wow, you're really stretching, huh, Chris?
Yeah.
It's
Well-
not in my house because I will only buy Dawn because those duck commercials worked.
What's this project, Kyle, that you got cooking there?
I have a little game that I want to play with you guys. Just a little
Again? Fuck! No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, this would be a bit more of a production like Scott's thing.
Will John be able to understand the rules?
Oh yeah.
No.
You only need 2d6 and that's it.
Okay.
2d6 what?
Nice.
6-sided dice. Fuck, I don't. Yeah, sure. Okay.
So I need to roll 2d6
Scott
Dice.
John.
to figure out how many d6s I need?
Incredible.
Yeah, okay.
I'm already getting a headache.
Okay, John, let me ask you this. Do you understand the workings of a gas station?
I hardly understand the workings of anything.
I mean, as in the the labor section of a gas station. Like, could you run a gas station?
Sure. Yeah, I could. Kyle.
Okay, then
Yeah.
you can play this game.
Now I'm confused.
That's fine.
Gas stations have nothing to do with d6s.
Yes, I'm aware. It's a small game called Night Shift, wherein you guys will be playing the night shift crew of a gas station out in the middle of nowhere, and stuff happens.
Are there like roles?
Yes, that's what the 2d6
Like
is
somebody
for.
has to be the guy.
Is it?
I think
Oh.
he means like
Roll, yes,
positions.
rolls. Yes, there are 6 roles. Some of which you don't have to have a specific one. We don't have to have them all filled. You have stock clerk, you have new guy, you have some random dude who doesn't actually work there but is pretending he is, the assistant manager, the cashier, and the pump workers.
I call stock.
I knew it. I called it.
And
Scott's the guy who doesn't actually work there.
yes, yes.
I will be assistant manager.
I'm gonna be the guy who doesn't work there.
Right.
Great.
Personally, I'll
be the pump worker.
The pump worker. Okay, so we just need a cashier.
I'll also be the cashier.
You can't do both. You can only do one.
I feel like I could manage.
Is this a board game?
That sounds like an assistant
are
manager
you
right
kidding
there.
me? It's like an RP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an RP. It's a
No,
tabletop.
it's, you know,
Okay.
those in leadership have to pick up the slack when, things get tough. And I, as assistant manager, am willing to make that sacrifice.
And I was telling Kyle as well. He's like, it's probably best if we have 5 people to play and then a guy as the DM. And I was saying, I kind of like the idea that part of the game is that we are bitching about upper management understaffing us.
It's certainly
That's
an
why there's
option.
only 4 of us.
Is this like a truck stop gas station?
No, this is a regular gas station.
No, then we would.
So
need,
it's
like,
going
a
to be
cook.
harder for me to get tips.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless
Well,
you're
we'll
the
see what
wizard.
happens, John.
Yeah,
I'm the pump.
I mean,
worker.
hey,
Yeah.
if you can fill up, we might be the only stop for several light years, and the Clondathuans are just like, hey, whatever you've got, just empty the entire underground thing into the tank when we're good to go.
Wait, this is in space.
Not necessarily.
I learned from Pokemon that light years is a measure of distance.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, John, if you're looking for some upward advancement, why don't you just take a step into my office over here and maybe we can work something out.
You guys are ruining all of the wonderful RP we could be recording later.
What are you doing, step
So
manager?
if you guys are interested in that, I have the rules are like 8 pages, and we're good to go.
It'll take
Well,
only
damn.
about a month for John to read that.
Before we move on to John's corner of the corner, we could play board games
On
and
camera.
record us playing board games.
But whoa, we got Lord of the Rings. What else?
I got Secret
That's all
Hitler.
I need, dog.
Secret Hitler.
Secret Hitler's fun.
Okay.
It is.
very
It's like
fun.
Mafia, kind of.
Okay.
I was waiting for Kyle to just immediately jump on board with it.
I also have Montgomery County Monopoly.
I'm a fan of the fact that it starts with Munt.
Why does that exist?
I was about to say we should make our own D&D version of it. I've already given up on this. Called Montgomery.
It's a parody of a branded Monopoly game.
Oh man.
Specifically, a joke of a brand that nobody but us will get.
Extremely specific.
John, what's going on with you?
Let's see. Not a lot. Shit's starting to pick up for me at work, even though Kyle said it's getting really boring for him. And you guys remember that fender bender that I had back in November?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, their insurance contacted me.
Okay.
Finally.
Yep. So that's cool.
Great.
Not going to disclose how much money and damage I apparently caused them. It's a pretty big amount, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did your insurance guy talk to their insurance guy? Maybe
Yes.
sorting that out?
Absolutely. Yes.
Well,
What?
what a thrilling corner of my corner.
All right, well, Chris, take us home.
We're just ending there. We're 32 minutes in.
We can't end there. I can talk.
Cody, how much money would it take you to have to be paid one time, but if you die in a video game, you have to go punch a dog.
What? What?
This is from the last podcast. The last podcast. This isn't my corner. We're not doing this. So what have I been up to?
Go watch the last video, Cody.
I wasn't in it.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I just kind of, I bebop around.
Did you ever deal with that bird?
No.
There's some birds that like to hang out outside of my window, and it's really annoying in the morning when
I
they
was
wake me
awoken.
up.
I was awoken the other day by a with the whoop, boo, boo,
Whippoorwill?
those guys. I don't know.
Or a loon.
You're a
Saturday, I used a public toilet, and I've had food poisoning for the past 2 days.
Another reference to the previous video. That's great.
Well, Chris, what were you eating in a public bathroom
It's all referenced in
that
the
would have
previous
caused
video.
you to get food poisoning?
Did you shit and then eat it?
Well, since you guys are so interested in what I've been up to, I guess.
Yeah.
You played Gartic Phone. That's a pretty cool game.
Yeah, I've done that
yeah.
once or twice. Yeah.
Has there been a cricket yet?
No,
I know that's usually an issue.
no,
you
there
have.
hasn't been one. Here's a preview for a corner that might come in like a month. I've discovered a book
Book.
A book.
that is written oddly, and I find the way it's written alone to be very compelling, and I shall read it. It is one of those books that I was able to find it on the internet, but I'm like, you know what? I think I need a physical copy of this because I'm not getting the message. It's one of those.
Okay.
It's written in a very strange way.
Like a picture book?
No. And I'm excited for it. It's called... Don't look it up, actually. Any of you idiots.
I've never heard
What
of
if I
that.
already know about it?
If you do, I guess, whatever. It's called House of Leaves.
I have heard about it.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's a horror novel.
Never
And
mind.
it's written very strangely.
One of my friends in college read it and told me I should read it, and then I never did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually how it goes.
Well, I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to talk about it and spoil the whole goddamn thing.
My professors told me to read things, and I didn't read those either. So
So,
that's why
Future
I can't
Scott.
I can't spell
I'm-
eggs.
I'm talking to you, Future Scott. You fucking bastard. I hate you. I hate you. You better have read that goddamn book. Because if not, then I don't know where the fuck you're doing. I don't know where we are right now.
In order to distract you, I have sent you other things.
This is my corner.
Yeah, I don't
We're
care.
not reading rules
No.
on my corner.
No.
I'd rather sit in fucking silence than read rules on my corner.
Wow, that had a very
Impressive echo.
ambient style echo to it. That was room encapturing.
Incredible. I don't like recording on Discord, guys.
I like seeing your beautiful faces.
I feel
The only
like
good thing about recording on Discord is that I get to stay in my room and I can look at my mic and it's close to me and I sound really throaty and good.
really crisp. The audio is always better on the Discord calls.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's doing their part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Was that a shot at him or me?
I don't know who it was a shot at.
I'll let you and the audience decide who it was a shot at.
I always assume it's me.
Come on, how are we going to fill this in my corner episode? How are we going to fill
Okay.
16 minutes, huh?
We were
Alright,
waiting
we
on
got-
you
we
to
got-
actually have something.
Let's get at least 10 more minutes.
I mean, like, that's the problem. I'm just going to ramble for a bit. Like I said, I've had a lot of ideas, too, and both of them have ended up being, like,
Long-term projects.
One in particular is, like, I feel, a good, fun idea.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is, I don't mind telling this. I want to make you guys, I've had 3 ideas now that I think about it. I want to make you guys watch spooky shit on YouTube and just, like, double buff reacts. Mainly because I just want to see Chris get scared out of his wits.
Aw,
I really want to play another scary game with Chris.
Shut the fuck up, John.
Uh-huh.
I watched a video recently. I think I saw this a long time ago, and it had left my memory. But then recently, it was presented to me again, called No Through Road. And it's just a little horror short, and it's so well made. And honestly, viewer out there, if you're listening to this and you got here, and you like horror stuff, I highly recommend it. The first one. They made sequels, and they aren't so great. But the first one is so well made and genuinely well acted, I feel. Like, it feels real. And I love it. And I saw that recently, and I'm like, oh, I love this so much. I should make these idiots in this channel also watch this stuff and be spooked at it. So, that sounds like a fun idea.
What are you doing right now? I'm free.
Right now, I'm recording a podcast.
Okay. Well, you wanted to record us anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I want to record you on camera.
I have a face cam.
I got a webcam.
I got a webcam.
You want to do that right now?
How long is the
I
video?
also have a webcam.
The video is like less than 10 minutes.
I do not.
But here's the problem. I don't know how okay it is to play the video in the video.
That's fair.
I mean, so like, people will do React videos all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
As long as like there's their voice in it. So I think it's treated very similarly to video games, where as long as your voice is in it or like a face cam, like it's not fully considered their content. So I don't think there's any real issue with it.
This seems like the kind of thing I want its own video for, though. I was thinking shotgunning 4 or 5 videos. We don't watch the whole video. We just see clips of you guys. Otherwise, it's just us watching the video, and I feel that's boring.
Yeah. We chop it down to the good shit.
And so it'll be like less than 10 minutes long of you guys getting spooked at spooky bits and spooky videos.
Okay.
Okay.
We could throw our faces in different corners.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be, you could sync up the spooks. And if Chris has this particularly good one, then we like, ooh, look at him. Look at this ugly mug.
I like the idea of Andy getting scared, and you see his eyes just getting 2% wider.
Goodness, that's what he would do.
That is.
His eyes don't get any bigger, but his eyebrows just go up.
Yeah, that sounds like Andy.
But yeah, I
Well,
have plenty in my head. Another good ARG series. There's one in particular that's a really good video. And it's honestly just a great series called Vita Carnus. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but
No.
it's an ARG type of thing that is presented as like a series of nature documentaries about this new life form called Vita Carnus that has suddenly appeared en masse in the world.
That sounds like that just means life meat.
It living meat is literally what it's called.
Okay, cool. That's just us.
Yep.
And it's just like, it starts out as The Crawl, and then The Crawl has a bunch of different versions of it, and it's this whole series of nature documentaries about these different forms of Vita Carnus, and it's very good, I feel. I especially enjoy when these analog horror series have practical effects rather than digital. The digital effects can be really good. Like a good example is in, what's that one we've talked about before, Cody?
Gemini?
Gemini Home Entertainment.
I think
Those
I know
were
exactly what you're going
pretty
to talk
solid.
about.
The wood guys.
Wood crawlers. Yep.
Wood crawler.
In like
Those
the first
looked
episode.
good. Yeah.
That legitimately scared me in that first episode when the legs
What are
jump
we
out
talking
from
about?
behind the through the doorway.
So there's something about small stuff with no musical sting that just fucking gets me. Like,
Yeah.
as divisive as the movie is, Signs does this so well, I feel. Just little scares where just nothing big happens, but nothing's supposed to happen, and then it happens, and you're like, oh! Oh god.
Honestly, with that root crawler effect, like if you slow it down, it's clearly just some cardboard cutouts of very crude spider legs. But in the moment, it happens so quickly and so suddenly that it just catches you so much by surprise.
I love it. That's a really great series. Probably in my top 5 analog horror bits is Gemini Home Entertainment. But I digress. Just kind of muttering about that. That's fine. You can mutter about whatever the fuck I want. It's my corner.
Can I mutter?
Yeah. I allow you.
Okay. I think I gave up that Arizona cult for a RuneScape cult.
Oh.
Oh?
And the problem is, I'm, for the first time in a long time, feeling a new adventurous feeling about RuneScape. Because I joined a clan, and it's a clan of like 50 people, and they did a group event where I was in a Discord with a whole bunch of random people, and they were teaching me how to do something new in the game and being extremely nice. And I realized that, like, after everything was done and over with, like, we went bossing against something I'd never even thought about fighting before. And when everything was done and over with, everybody was gone, and I was by myself again, and I'm like, I want more of this. And I'm like, is that the beginning? Is this the beginning of a cult?
Could be.
Where, like, then, like, I have this, like, this need, this yearning to just be a part of it again.
You got flirty fished.
I think so. I think so. And most of them are Middle Eastern men.
Incredible.
I don't know. That was not real. I think
Great.
they're mostly Americans.
What a weird thing to say then. Why'd you say it?
Like 2 of them were. 2 of them actually were.
Okay.
That's great.
Any
They just
confirmation
happened to
on
be the
that?
only 2 that talked.
Still somehow
Yeah.
impressed that RuneScape has stuck around. When did it come out? What, 2003?
Something like that. 2003, 2006.
This game's 20 years
That's
old
years.
and still has a cult following.
Isn't WoW super old?
Yeah,
Yeah, but at
Yeah,
the very least
yeah.
with WoW, you have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for RuneScape. You can.
Yeah.
Kyle, Magic the Gathering's older than.
yeah, I guess that's true. Fuck.
I mean, again, I think you're underestimating how important it is that if you've already, it's sunken cost. If I've already paid this much for World of Warcraft, I'm not going to stop playing.
Right.
Yep.
They call Magic cardboard crack for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
RuneScape is just something that you can just fucking drop.
Did you guys hear that
It did several
story?
times. It just keeps
Did you
coming
guys
back.
hear that story about how Wizards of the Coast sent the Pinkertons after a
Yeah.
guy who
Yes.
got a box
Magic
of promo
cards?
cards early?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the hell?
They
Who
just
would've
had the
thought
one
the Pinkertons
kerfuffle
were still
earlier in the
around?
year.
They're
Yeah,
they're still one of the largest
yeah, they're
detective agencies.
they're not a detective agency. They're essentially a PMC. They just call
have
themselves a
you
detective
played-
agency.
No, never mind. You haven't played Red Dead.
No, I haven't, but I know who the Pinkertons are. They call
No, he's
themselves
talking
the
to Chris.
detective agency because that gets them over being strike busters and stuff.
Yeah.
I
No, I,
fucking hate the Pinkertons.
I did a little bit of research on the Pinkertons once that came out, so I realized what they were.
The Pinkertons are one of those things I've just absorbed through osmosis because I read a lot about true crime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys
What
hear
a-
how that event supposedly went down?
No.
I did.
Didn't they like pretty much swat his house?
So they sent they only sent one agent.
Oh, okay.
And basically he showed up and told the YouTuber's wife who answered the door that he was essentially gonna get arrested. They were gonna sue him for hundreds of millions of dollars unless she let him in and get the cards. Which, that is just straight up not true. If a company sends you a product that you paid for and they sent the wrong thing, that's considered a gift by the federal government and you do not have to give it back.
Huh.
That's great.
So,
this is weirdly
yeah.
familiar to the plot of the game Inscription.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In Inscription is a really good game by David Mullen, I believe his name is.
Yeah, it was a very fun game to play.
The plot of the game is there's this guy named, he has a YouTube channel in the fucking game. He has a YouTube channel called The Lucky Carter, and his name is Luke Carter. And he just he like opens up packs and stuff, and at one point he opens up this pack to a card game that has been like discontinued called Inscription. Was it called Inscription? I can't remember if that was the name of it. Well, either way, he opens up a pack, and one of the cards has a, like, what's the fucking word? Like, coordinates on it. So he goes to those coordinates, digs a hole, and finds a floppy of the game Inscription. And then the game is you, as Luke, playing the game Inscription.
Okay.
And you go through it, and it turns out there's some sort of proprietary technology inside the floppy that Luke is not supposed to have. And, like, at the end of the game, spoiler alert, even if I spoil it, it doesn't really spoil anything. I highly recommend you watch it. At the end of the game, you see he has a webcam that you see him throughout the game sometimes. At the end, he opens the door because he hears a knock, and it's like some agent that kills him.
Oh. Okay, then.
Oh.
Not totally dissimilar.
Was this like FMV?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a really cool game. Like, I just love. Honestly, the first part of the game is super fun. Then it starts going, and the story is still compelling, but then the game starts to suck. But it's like, that's the point. It's weird, but I highly recommend it.
Oh, what's it called
I
again?
always have a
Inscription.
question about that.
Something
It's called
interesting
Inscription.
here that since we're talking about Pinkertons, that reminded me of Red Dead. And I have a friend who's just now playing Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the second video game he's ever played with any sort of seriousness.
Okay.
And he's just been relating his experience playing Red Dead 2 to me over the past couple of weeks. And I think I related this to you guys maybe last week or so, but we were talking about the experience of playing Red Dead 1 and then Red Dead 2. And Red Dead 2 being a prequel, you know everything that's going to come in Red Dead 1. But if you play Red Dead 2 first, you don't have any of that foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what that type of experience would be
Right.
to play Red Dead 2 first. But my buddy is doing it.
It's sort of like gaming for a non-gamer, that series.
Yeah, kind of. And he, like I said, like his first game he ever played was like Grand Theft Auto 5. And
Rockstar fan, I guess.
And he's like, well, I liked Grand Theft Auto 5, and they also made Red Dead 2, so I guess I'll play that.
Did he at all question why it was Red Dead 2?
He's never brought it up.
Did he at all
I-
ask about
just
the
as-
first one?
I mean, he never asked about the first 4 Grand Theft Autos.
Fair.
Well, he might have thought that Grand Theft Auto 5 didn't really relate to any of the other Grand Theft Auto
That
games.
is true.
Yeah, I think the
So,
only
like-
thing that harkens back is obviously the area, and I think there's an Easter egg where you see
You can find
people who are-
Nico.
No, I was gonna say, wait, can you?
No.
They
You-
reference
you
Nico
can-
in one of the missions.
He's referenced, and you can also find his dating app.
I didn't know that. I was talking about how there, at one point you go down Grove Street and you can see people dressed like CJ in the gang,
Not really.
like on bikes.
Did you run him over?
I did, yeah.
But
That's an interesting question. Oh, you're not done.
no, I was just going to say, like, he originally bounced off of it hard, because he's like, this game is so boring.
Right, you were telling me this. Yeah, I remember.
Like, I've got to eat food and, like, brush down my horse and carry hay bales.
Yep.
And he's like, why would anybody want to play this? But
It
the
is
funny
interesting. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I keep thinking you're done.
But the funny thing is, he told me just the other day that he's starting to appreciate the pace, the slower
Yeah.
pace, and he's just getting lost in the world.
That's what I was
And,
going to say, is it's interesting how I think Rockstar might just be geniuses, not only from a creative side, but also a financial side, because they know what makes money, and they keep doing it. And that kind of sucks for a consumer like myself, who wants single-player content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit about GTA Online, but unfortunately they make a lot of money from it. Regardless, it's interesting that if a lesser developer were to do that to me, where you're like, all right, you gotta feed your horse, you gotta pet it down, you gotta feed yourself, you gotta sleep, you gotta do all this shit, I'd be like, this sucks dick.
Mm-hmm.
But just from the get-go in Red Dead 2, I was like, okay, I guess my RPG came into me. And I was like, oh, I'm Arthur. Arthur's got to take care of himself and his horse.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I think it's wonderful. Well, the question I was going to ask you guys, though, speaking of, like, this is his first real foray into serious video games. I've touched on this briefly in a podcast before. What's, like, the first game you guys played that turned games into art for you?
Can I
Turn games into
can I
art.
finish?
I
Can I
thought you were
finish my
done
thought
again. I'm
before
sorry.
you answer that question?
God damn it.
Because I think this is
Jesus
just so
Christ,
funny.
This thought has fucking stamina.
Right?
I just thought this was really funny because he was originally so dismissive of it, but then he just started playing Chapter 2, and everybody gets lost in Chapter 2.
Yep.
But like he would go out hunting, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm actually like good at hunting," and he said another time he got the first letter from Mary, and he's like got flustered about this old flame in Arthur's life, and so he legitimately, before going to meet Mary, got a haircut, bought a new outfit, like new clothes, and then went to go see her. And one of the first things she says to him is like, "Wow, you know, could have cleaned up before you came by."
Yeah.
And Kevin is like, "Oh fuck, I forgot to get a bath."
Well, that's the thing. I did the exact same shit, and even took a bath, and that bitch still said that.
Oh, I won't ruin the illusion for him because he said he felt actually embarrassed
Yeah.
I
for
have
not getting a bath before meeting Mary.
That is.
I for a
amazing.
long minute there, I legitimate thought he went out into the real world and got a fucking haircut in real life and bought new clothes and dressed up and then sat down to play the game.
Oh, Mary.
But yeah, that Red Dead does that to me, especially the first time I played it. Like, there was mystery in the places in the map I hadn't been, and there had been times where in Chapter 2, because that's the one, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to go on a hunting trip. And I would go and be like, oh, there's a nice pond over there. I'll go over to the pond and then I'll fish and come back. That must have been in Chapter 3 because you don't get the fishing rod till later. But I would just for real do that. And then I'd come back with a deer on my horse and a bunch of fish in my bag and give it to the camp.
Yep.
And the game didn't tell me to do that. I just did it.
Yep. Yep. Like, well, the game kind of instinctually, like, pushes you in that direction early on. Like, even in the prologue where, like, you're up on the mountain and Hosea's just like, come on, let's go. Like, I don't remember. No. It was Charles who was like, hey, let's go hunt some deer.
Hunting. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, he kind of walks you through hunting and, like, that gives you that automatic feeling of like, oh, like Arthur provides, he brings food back. So then every time I came back with a deer or something, so just to make sure that we had food.
So many podcasts have turned into us sucking Red Dead's dick.
Yeah.
Either way, the
All
question
He's got a
I wanted
lot
to
of
ask you
dick I
guys-
want to suck. I'll say that.
The question I wanted to ask you guys, what's the game that you played that like turned video games into art for you? I've talked about this before. Mine was Shadow of the Colossus. I was fighting the Colossus on top of the platform with a big sword or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
And something about being that tiny little man, and I had to climb the dude and like get on his sword, and I'm like, oh shit, this is like an experience. This is not a game, quote unquote.
Right.
So, like, I will go ahead and give you my answer. Because weirdly enough, I've realized that Final Fantasy X, as a spoiler, it's Final Fantasy X.
Great.
I think we do.
Yes.
Final Fantasy X, for me, it's hard for me to grind out the last bits of trophies in that game. And I was really confused on as to why. But, like, every time I would sit down and, like, try to do the grind, I just found myself not wanting to continue. And so, like, I put the game down. I'm like, okay, like, maybe I just need to, like, get away from it for a little bit. You know, here in, like, 2 years, I'll start back up and go from the beginning, go for playthrough 15. But while I was driving to work the last week, I just had, I think I previously had video game, like, theme songs playing on a playlist in Spotify. And the Xanarkin song came on. And just, like, there was a rush of emotions that went through me. And it was very odd. It was weirdly compelling. I was genuinely confused because, like, I just felt myself starting to tear up. And I'm like,
Wow.
man, I just felt like all these, like, major moments of all the things that I remembered from the game. And, like, that was just, I don't know. It was, I think I realized around that moment that I'm like, I don't think I ever want to 100% the game, because then I'll feel like I won't have a reason to come back to it.
It'll be over.
Exactly.
I have a very similar feeling with almost any game that I'm enjoying. Whenever I'm getting to the near end of it, this hit me hard with Mass Effect. For those who haven't listened, this is your first podcast. In the last year, I've been introduced to Mass Effect and have played through the entire trilogy now and gotten all the plats and shit. When I was in Mass Effect 3 and I was getting to the end and I knew, like, I'm staring down the quote-unquote final trophy, and I was like, I can just play it again. I'll make Ralphetta. She'll be a good guy. So Ralph finished his story, and I got there, and I'm like, okay, great. I guess there's more games still, because I don't know what the good guy options are. And I went back, and I made a Ralphetta. Ralphetta is a badass bitch, and she's a good guy, girl. But she sucks. Ralph just had something, and it's that first... This has less to do with the ending. That something is taken away from me when I'm reaching the end of the game. Again, recently, I was replaying... I've broken out my PS2, and I've been playing some PS2 games, and I beat X-Men Legends 1 and 2. And I didn't even beat X-Men Legends 2 this time, because I'm like, I'm about to go fight Apocalypse, and I know once I do, the game's going to be over. And I don't know, there's just some mental block that's like, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Anyway, John, so FF10.
FF10. FF10 will forever hold a dear spot in my heart, and it set a very high bar for every video game I played after that.
What about the rest of you three degenerates?
I've been thinking about this, and I've been going through all of my, played games.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few games that kind of initially jumped out at me. Like BioShock and BioShock Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, those are great games, and I really enjoyed those games. But I feel like I might have bought into the hype for those games before I played them, and wanted to like them, and so I did. Does that make any sense?
That definitely happened to me with BioShock Infinite. Like, when I went back to play BioShock Infinite, it didn't feel like the same game. It felt like was playing some... The first time, it felt like a masterpiece, I guess.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, there's just like this question in the back of my mind of, are those my feelings and thoughts about those games? Or are they kind of colored by all of the stuff I heard before I played
Excuse
them?
me. Excuse me. Thoughts and feelings of color.
Excuse me. Because now I kind of like, I love Bioshock Infinite. It's probably a top 10 game of mine, but I do feel like when I look back on it, I'm like, it kind of had its head up its own ass a bit, with all the multiverse stuff.
Like the twins going on about their heady bullshit
Mm-hmm.
feels very like it feels very r/I am very smart sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think like the only two games that really come to mind, spoilers, that I don't think were colored by anything previously were probably Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2. Red Dead 1 because I played it really without any expectation or previous hype, I guess. And then Red Dead 2 because I already knew I liked Red Dead 1 and I was probably going to like Red Dead 2.
I have a really weird story about Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
Rockstar wasn't even on my radar at this time. I think Red Dead 1 came out in 2011.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on my radar. Like, I had never played a GTA other than, like, playing, I think, GTA 4 at your house. And, they weren't for me. Randomly, out of nowhere, I did not have cable, okay? On, like, Fox, the channel on TV, at, like, 11 o'clock at night, it played a full half an hour, like, special of the first half an hour of cutscenes from Red Dead 1.
What?
What?
Yeah. And nothing like this has occurred in my life. It felt like destiny. I'm not even joking. Because it was so odd. There weren't commercials, just no gameplay. It was only cutscenes of where he goes to Armadillo and he meets with Bill and the sheriff, and they like see like a hanged corpse in the barn at one point. I remember all of that, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like a Western that I get to play. I think I want this game. And I literally the next week had the game.
I think I'm horny for this game.
What a weird situation.
Yeah. I think I have two. In neither of them are good. The first one that, like, cause I've been sitting here going through all the games I can think of that I've played, and there's a lot I forget, which probably doesn't mean they sit well with this kind of a question. But the one that I really kind of feel like opened gaming up in a way that it never really did before was Oblivion.
Flush.
And
Okay.
like a big part of that is probably why I play D&D so much now. It's just that kind of feeling of just the ability to walk through the world. Like, you can fast travel, but you can just walk through the forest to get wherever you're going in Oblivion. And there's just wonderful ambiance. And then every once in a while, it's got that lovely Bethesda jank that comes up.
You seem like the exact person who would say lovely Bethesda jank.
Do you want to know a really fun behind the scenes thing for Oblivion, and why all of the writing seems so goddamn weird?
I think I know what this is.
So they wrote the entire script for every single voice line in the game. They hired their 4 fucking voice actors to record all of the other people, and then they recorded it all in like one session alphabetically by the first letter in the fucking line.
Oh my god.
So that's why everyone sounds so weird all the damn time, is because there's zero connection between one person saying something and the next.
Yep.
The other game...
I was thinking...
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I'll throw mine at the end, because this game is... I do not want to actually give a shout out to this game.
Chris hasn't even went.
I know.
I think part of the reason why I got attached to Oblivion so quickly, because Scott fucking hated me for how much I got attached to Oblivion when we'd go over to... I love you guys. You guys are great. I would go over to your house to play Oblivion because I didn't have it. I'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to hang out? We could spend the weekend at the Wintermute house tonight."
Play Oblivion.
And you guys would be like, "Yeah, sure." And then as soon as I were ready to go to bed, I'd fucking sneak into the room and play Oblivion.
You could have just asked for it.
Yeah, you could have just
I
asked.
was too shy. I was scared.
I also probably would have said no because I'm like, well, I'm playing it.
But I realize now, thinking about it, I feel like Oblivion was just a first-person, more detailed RuneScape for me. Because you could sit there and level up all these different abilities by doing these dumb little things. And it's quite literally just the same thing, but at a faster pace.
I see what you mean.
What was your other game?
Other game and Chris.
The other game is it's called The Isle. It was one of the
Oh yeah, the dinosaurs.
Yes. So the idea basically is if you guys understand how DayZ works, the Arma 2 mod, it's basically that.
Oh, I thought you meant the flower.
Nice.
I think, yeah.
Thanks.
It's
You
basically
probably know of
just
this guy, Kyle.
you know, it's just the
There's a guy on YouTube
Mhm.
that makes really good Isle videos, I feel. Even I've seen them, where he's like, I lived as a Dinosuchus for 28 hours or whatever.
Okay. The only thing I want to bring up is just this one. I have one very distinct memory of playing that game. And I was in the laundry room at the apartment, because that's where my computer was set up. And it was absurdly hot, and I just remember running. I was playing some big theropod thing, and I remember running through the forest next to the river. And I just heard the, like, long broadcast call of one of the same species as me. And I'm just like, cool. And I just run towards it. And I just make the same sound back at it. And then I hear, like, 15 other of them just all around the map. And we all just kind of congregate. There's no text chat. There's no voice chat going on. We're all just making animal noises that the game lets you. And then we all just form up, kind of look at each other, and then one dude just starts running off into the distance, and we all just follow him like a flock of sheep. And it's one of the weird...
Stampeded?
Basically, and as soon as we found something, we just dogpiled it.
Wow.
And it was so weird to just coordinate so organically.
It was organic.
We had 4 or 5 buttons of communication. We had one button that was just random noise, one really long, loud one, an aggressive one, a friendly one, and a scared one. And that's the only things you could use to communicate. And it just, it just organically worked. And I can't recommend the game anymore because it's kind of shit at the moment. And they went away from the way they were going. So... But that was one of those moments where it was like, this is probably the most immersive experience I've ever had in a video game. Which was just, basically running around like an animal in a pack, like a big fucking dog.
That's what I used to do on the playground.
Right? That's what it is. That's kind of what it evoked.
Noises.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I want to be a Minotaur.
I do think there's a different kind of immersion when you know that there are other people doing the same exact thing. Like, there's the immersion that you get with Red Dead.
Right.
Where, like, you become that character. But, like, when you have, like, 20 people that are all acting like this dinosaur, like, I feel like that's a different kind of immersion.
Like, you can't
It's not
even
dissimilar.
communicate with yourself, and we didn't need to. We all knew what we were gonna do.
It's not dissimilar from tabletop RP.
Almost.
Right? Where I almost want to froofy-doo up this podcast a bit and say it's like chaos magic. We're all sitting around a table, and I'm not Scott, as trite and stupid as that sounds. Like when I'm talking in a scene, it's an act, and it's fun. Like, and like that's part of the illusion, and I think that's why a lot of that guys people get mad at that guys, because it breaks the illusion, and it's like it's the fly in the ointment that would otherwise be perfect. that guy is turning it into a game, and the game for me is that it's not a game.
Yeah.
Even though it definitely is a game, and I have fun with the game. Don't get me wrong, guys.
There is the one other kind of that guy, which is the I don't get to be an asshole in real life, so I'm gonna pretend my version of being real and this not being a game is just make everyone else's day worse.
Yeah.
Those are the other.
Chris, what's your game?
Yeah, Chris, what do you got?
I was well, this has given me a lot of time to think about that. Because I'm kind of on the back foot because I don't play as many games as the rest of you.
Yeah.
But I think I've come to the conclusion that if it wasn't for Flower, I probably wouldn't have played as many games as I have.
I thought you were going to say Journey.
You would think that, but I played Flower first, and then I played Journey. I bought them the combo set because they're by the same company.
Mm-hmm.
When
game company, I believe, is their name.
Yeah, when I had a PS4, and I was living at John's, and like the experience of being a pedal in the wind. It sounds so stupid, but I could lose myself in the environment of that game. You know,
I can definitely see that with Journey. I played Flower. Not for me. It's not for me.
I'd really like to revisit this topic because I definitely have a lot more thoughts
Sure,
Right.
but
to
you're pretty deep.
share, but we're running pretty long
Right.
already.
Yeah.
I would love to do a video game discussion, yeah.
I'm there with Cody on that because there's also a lot of different like arts and like feelings that you get from games, and like there's a very big difference between art in a multiplayer game
Mm-hmm.
compared to like a single player game to me.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a pretty big dichotomy going on there.
it's also
Weirdly,
where
there's
I feel like
so many. Oh, I'm sorry. I literally didn't hear you.
I also just feel like I don't know if I have a really high bar for what art is, but I don't, or maybe I'm just not as into video games as I thought I was, but I feel like my list of what games actually constitute as art is like a rather short list.
Mine's very small.
Like, I can understand Flower and Journey or Sable being artistic games. And I can understand that that's what they're trying to do. But for a lot of those games, I just kind of see them as just kind of entertainment. Just a game. I don't see the deeper significance to it.
For Journey, at least, in my head, the significance comes from the feeling I'm getting from it despite the simplicity. There's like 3 buttons in that game, and 2 of them basically the same thing. And yet, I've only played it for like, to beat the whole game, you play it for like 2 hours, tops.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about the journey of it to the top of that mountain that I don't even know. It just feels special and personal. I think is a word I'll use.
I think that was one of the things I was going to make a comment on. I would say anytime the developer is genuinely seems invested in trying to make you feel something, I think we could try and rate the game as art, kind of a thing going on. Like,
Well,
even if it's not
think-
intended as that.
I think that's only one half of the equation, though.
Right.
Because I also have to feel that feeling.
Right.
Um,
Whether
And
it's
I don't-
successful or not, I think is where the issue comes in.
I mean, you can say that a developer is trying to evoke some sort of emotion in you when you play the game, and say that is artistic. But if I don't feel the emotions, like, I'm not going to say it was successful at being artistic.
Right. I don't disagree.
I don't think that takes away from it being art, though.
Right. Some art won't connect with you.
It takes away from me
Enjoying it, probably.
Not even necessarily enjoying it, but categorizing it like that.
This reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Homer's like trying to build a grill in his backyard and he fucks it up completely.
Right.
He gets mad and starts like hitting it with a hammer or something.
Right.
And then a passing artist, I guess, sees it and is like, "What? That's incredible," or whatever. And it's just a pile of shit that he hit with his hammer.
Right.
It's like my favorite piece of modern art, which is just a urinal.
Like I played Spec Ops: The Line, and that game is widely praised for the story that it tells, and like I understood while I was playing it, like you're supposed to be having like a very revelatory emotional experience while you're playing this, so go ahead and start doing that. And it just never really clicked for me. Like, it was a fun game, but I didn't get as emotionally invested as all the other people I read did.
That was my problem with that game, too. It was a huge revelatory story inside a game that I feel didn't deserve it. Because the gameplay, it was quite subpar and boring.
See, this is getting into a video that I watched recently by Hardleg Gaming, who normally does Yu-Gi-Oh content, right? And he was talking about art and like, what is art and how do you classify art? And it went from, the definition he was using was there is intent to communicate something outside of normal means, right?
Okay.
So like it's not natural to like make a giant golden bull, right? To say that the stock market and the resiliency of the American people in a bullish market is something to hold up. But like, so if you can't understand that, I don't think that's a fault of the piece of art. It's
fucked, Cody.
The fault of media literacy on the part of the individual viewing that art.
Thomas Aquinas once said...
Yeah, let's end the podcast. See you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take us out, Chris.
We had a good time making some philosophy and kind of updating everybody on everybody.
I feel like we really salvaged it there in the last 25 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Let's just say that we did it like art.
Chris, I really wish you would have just made like gun noises when he said take us out and then just end the podcast.
Pew pew. Bye, everybody.